In the beginning, we were all alone, living in a shadowed planet amongst the cosmos. A barren realm filled with peace and possibility. In these dark days, Hyperion brought light to the world, and with it came life.
This is episode 59 of the VR Gaming Podcast. We're on YouTube and every podcast platform. I'm Justin, aka mame-fan, and I've been sick for a couple weeks now. My whole family's been sick. Alex, have you guys been sick there in merry old England?
I was sick over Christmas. I had a couple of weeks where I was really rough, really bad sore throat, and just lots of phlegm.
That's what was happening here.
Yeah, I think it's just been going around over the winter. It sucks. It kind of ruins Christmas a little bit, but it's fine.
My ex got it, then my kid got it, then I got it, and I've been to the doctor a couple times. I had to get prescriptions. Like, I haven't had a fever, but I've had this cough that...
You went to the doctor?
Yeah, I went to the doctor.
What a pussy.
I know.
Just ride it out, man.
Well, here's the problem. I couldn't sleep at night. I was coughing so much I couldn't sleep at night.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
You
I
couldn't
didn't go to no doctor.
Really?
No, you just take, over-the-counter stuff, cold and flu tablets or whatever.
Yeah. That over-the-counter shit wasn't working for me. I was using Mucinex DM. I had to go to the doctor. They gave me some prescriptions, and then immediately I could sleep. I wasn't coughing anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'll let you off.
the doctor's smart. So I'm getting better. Anyway, enough of sickness talk. Let's get on to games. If I can get... Okay, my mouse pointer. The biggest release probably in the past month has been Arken Age. And I did a video. So it has... So this is showing me right here. It has inverse kinematics that are cool. And I'm pointing at the interface here. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you're seeing the video. And what I like about the interface is that you interact with it physically with your hands. There's no... Like, most games just give you bullshit laser pointers to interact with everything. So this has, like, tablets and interfaces and stuff everywhere that you point at buttons with your fingers. Which is cool. I beat this game. It took me 12 hours. I went all the way through this game. I want to start off by saying I think this game... Oh, and thank you to the developers, Vitruvius VR. They gave us free keys. And they also, in 2019, they came out with Shadow Legend. I liked that game a lot. Shadow Legend. Did you like Shadow Legend? Or did you play it?
Yeah, I liked it at the time. Obviously, it's very dated now.
Yeah.
This game's definitely got that DNA, like, with the way that they do, like, you go through into an area and it's kind of an open-ish area with lots of, like, secrets and things to find. It very much reminds me of Shadow Legend. Yeah,
it's definitely a lot like Shadow Legend because it's kind of this arena-like area. And, you fight enemies in it, and, like you said, lots of secrets and little hidden things to find. Except, that was, like, more medieval, and this one is, like, sci-fi. You're some sort of cyborg alien fighting other cyborg aliens. Do you even understand the story?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's the story. I think that's the main thing I've heard people say is, like, the story is kind of like just there. It's not really something that keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
But everything about the game is really good. I mean, it's just one of those, VR games that's just really been. You can tell that the developers really got experience with VR. It's just like we've got a lot of games, obviously, like with Metro and Batman and stuff, and they have obviously some cool stuff. But they feel like they've simplified a lot of things, like obviously the grappling hook in Batman. Whereas this, it's just like full exploration VR, where you've got the, you can climb anything that's like tree related. You can climb it with these picks. You can, there's loads of cool interactions. Like when you have the ice pick, well, not ice picks, whatever you call them, climbing picks. to get them open, you kind of like flick your hands up and then press the grips, and it feels
Yeah.
really good. Like it's a really good
I want to
feeling.
here's what I want to disagree on that. Well, for me,
Okay.
I had the hardest time getting always my left hand, getting that one to flick out.
Really?
I struggled the whole game. But I
Well,
was using Quest 3. You're using PSVR 2 probably, right?
yeah. I mean, it always worked for me. Like you just flick your hands down and then like quickly flick them up, and
Yeah.
then like you get these little things in front of you. You press grip and you grab them. And that's like I would even do it like because in this game you can literally run, jump. You've got full freedom of movement. And I was like jumping off of things like in midair, flicking my hands, grabbing hold of the climbing axes, like sticking myself into a tree, climbing up a tree. It just goes, even though obviously it's not open world, it's open enough where it gives you like this freedom to be. It's not as linear as obviously most games where you're obviously just down a set path. You can actually like try and go around enemies, climb up trees, swim underwater. Yeah, it's a really good. I mean, it's a great start to the year. I think if it came out last year, it would definitely be up there with the better games that came out. The fully licensed games, and I think from what I understand, this developer is quite small. Like, I don't know if it's one person, but it's definitely a small team of
I think it's 4 people.
4 people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've done a great job.
Yeah, my biggest complaint is actually that grappling. Like that annoyed me my whole 12 hours through the game. I would really struggle getting the left grapple to come out.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
I don't know why. The right one was fine.
Yeah.
But once you're climbing with those grappling hooks, yeah, that feels great. There's no issues with the climbing.
Yeah, it doesn't feel janky or wobbly or anything because obviously it's like physics based. So there's a lot of it's kind of like obviously Boneworks and whatever, but it's been done in a way that it's not janky like those games. I think they've balanced it well where you can obviously like when you fight in enemies it's physics based combat, but if you're climbing you're not like wobbling around like some sort of weird bobblehead or something,
Yeah. So this game has tons of settings in the options menu, so you can customize it exactly how you want. Like I didn't like the angle of the guns just slightly, but I could get in the options and I could adjust all that.
Yeah, I did the same. Yeah, I
Yeah.
adjusted them. And you can adjust everything. Like it's just it's just one of those games where it's just really you can tell it's been made by someone who is really into VR themselves, and they already know all the complaints and things that people are going to want before the game even comes out. Like it's just funny how you've got like people like Vertigo Games who released Metro VR, and that game came out with wonky gun angle. Like you had to wait for them to patch the game to add an option for you to adjust the gun angle from a developer who've obviously really experienced, high budget. They've got multiple games under the belt, but then you've got this small indie developer of 4 people who know already like to put that in the game. It's just crazy to me that happens still with some of these developers.
Here's my only guess is like this indie game, like they weren't on some timeline where they had to release it by a certain date to appease investors and shit. So
Yeah, but
maybe
it's
they had more
still
time,
just
you know?
it's just one of those things that just should be picked up on really quickly during testing.
Yeah.
And obviously like they obviously have the funds to actually pay testers to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas
true.
these probably didn't, or maybe they had like beta tests for a closed, like for fans who really want to play the game. But the reality is that this stuff shouldn't be coming out with all these problems, but yet we're still having games with these problems. I mean, this game also runs like this game, Arken Age runs great, and like it looks good, it runs great. There's just very little to complain about over the. Obviously, you're having problems with the climbing axe, which I didn't, but there's not really a lot I can really complain about and say this game's not. I can't even really suggest much for them to fix. Honestly, it's that good.
I can always find things to complain about.
Yeah, well, you can, yeah.
Yeah, I can. So one thing I could complain about is I played the whole game through and beat the final boss, which that was a fucking nightmare. But anyway, a lot of the times I was like, where the fuck do I go now? And it wasn't clear. And I wanted to say that they released, I told the developer that like a lot of times I just don't know where the fuck you want me to go. And so they released an update where you have a map now that you can pull the map out and at any time, and you can set it to point like an arrow to where you need to go. Because
Yeah.
in my playthrough, I didn't have that. So I spent a lot of time just kind of like confused about what the
Yeah.
next thing to do was. How long did you play it?
I've not played a lot, a couple of hours. One
Okay.
of my big problems I have is I've moved into like this small office where
Mm-hmm.
we are now, and honestly, I playing this game, I must have smashed my hand against the wall probably like 5 times in 30 minutes because it's like you get like the game has obviously both melee and gun combat, but the
Yep.
guns are quite weak to start with.
That's the
So you
big
really
issue.
do have to
Yeah, that's the issue with the guns.
Yeah, you have to really focus on. You can upgrade them, so you can get upgrades. Like immediately, I got an upgrade for the main pistol, where like magazine was twice as much. It was more powerful. The rate of fire was better. So you can upgrade the guns as you play, which I'm guessing is how they wanted it, so that you weren't just like overpowered with the guns.
Yeah.
And I think the developer has said that they're going to try and tweak that a little bit, but you do basically need to focus mostly on the melee, and it's not an easy game. Like the enemies, the AI is really good in this game. I found like they they will shoot at you from a distance, and they will like literally like slide into cover. But then as soon as you get a certain distance away, they'll put the guns away, and they get the swords out, and then they'll literally jump at you, or some of them will like literally yank them towards you. Some of them will like tether you to the ground where you've got to like use your swords to free yourself.
And some
And
of
they're
them
aggressive.
are kamikaze bombs. They just
Yeah,
explode.
they're just aggressive, and they're not like. I actually really think the AI is some of the best AI I've seen in a VR game, just because it just feels so refreshing to have a game that's not afraid to push the player a little bit. And like with Batman's cool, but it's very, very obviously scripted,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you're having to just follow what the game wants you to do. Whereas this is literally like free form. They're coming at you from wherever, and it can obviously that does result in jank sometimes. Obviously, like when you accidentally like swing your sword and kill someone without even realizing it or something, but it's still good enough, and like the AI is good enough where it's challenging, it's fun, and it's just really well done. I just really like this game.
Yeah. So yeah, from a distance they'll shoot at you, and I would find that I would try to fight them from a distance with my guns, and my guns were just too weak. I could barely ever kill anybody with a gun, so I found myself just pretty much always relying on melee. And when I got up close for melee, I could usually just destroy them. Like there wasn't
Yeah,
much they could do. And I started to find like later into the game, oh, I just take out their legs and then they fall, and then I just hit them in the head. So it for me it did end up getting like kind of too easy,
yeah,
the regular enemies. But then they start introducing these giant enemies with like fucking miniguns and shit.
yeah.
And those guys are a lot harder. So sometimes when those guys see you, I mean, it's like you're just dead unless you're
Yeah, I think like
lucky.
that's just a regular game though. Like you've got your like as you progress through, like say something like Borderlands or something, like you start
Mm-hmm.
off feeling weak, but then as you get better and better guns, the starter weaker enemies suddenly become a lot easier. But then they introduce new enemies that are harder, so it balances things out. But then obviously you get the fact that you can just like wipe out the starter guys easily. So I think obviously it's really difficult to balance these things, and maybe they
Yeah.
do need to tweak the balance a bit more. But I think overall they did a good job of balancing things so that it's got some sort of progression, and because it's really got a lot to it as well. Like there's so much stuff you can collect. There's like these like in the video that's on the screen on the YouTube, like you're literally putting you're upgrading your guns, and you're getting like blueprints, and you can paint your guns, and they have put a lot into it so that there's a lot of depth. It's not just like a basic type of game where you're just like going through a tunnel, just doing the same thing over and over, like some games like we've had. So I do appreciate the systems and everything they've put into this game.
Yeah, in this video right here, this was the first time I ever used their upgrade system. So I was like, the first time you get to it, you're going to be confused about how this fucking thing works.
Yeah, there's definitely
Yeah.
a lot of like the tutorials like 30 minutes long or something, just
Oh
teaching you a
yeah,
lot of the stuff.
that's something that most people have complained about. The tutorial's too long, and everyone says you should try to put more of this stuff, teach this stuff as you play the actual game,
Yeah,
instead of
I
make
agree with
everyone
that.
just sit and do a tutorial.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my because it literally teaches you all the basic stuff like shooting the guns and stuff, and then they like spawn some enemies for you to kill. And they definitely could have done that a little bit more. Like they could have had you go through, even if it was more linear to start with, just to teach that sort of stuff. They could have really like had it so you progressed and then teach you a little bit and progress further, rather than you just being in this tower, like pressing buttons in a menu and then like reading stuff. It was a bit too long.
Yeah. So let's see. What else is there to talk about? Okay, so like I said, I beat the game. About halfway into the game, I was just feeling like, all right, this is too repetitive. You haven't played it long enough, I guess, to feel like this is just
No.
I'm seeing the same type of environments over and over, the same enemies. I'm doing the same thing. So I was kind of getting tired of it, but I powered through because I liked it enough to keep going. And you know how I am. Like
Yeah.
I kind of have to beat a game.
Persistent. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm persistent. Um, but then the level type did change a little bit. You know, it started to look a little different once I got closer to the end of the game. And like I said, they introduced these harder enemies that you had to deal with. And once I got to this final boss, oh my god! I initially said, "All right, I'm just never going to beat this game," because the rest of the game does not prepare you at all for that final boss.
Right.
It's one of the hardest final bosses I've ever fought.
Really?
Yeah. So what I did was I went to YouTube and I watched somebody else fight him, and then that gave me some ideas of what I needed to do. So then I fought him again. I mean, I had to fight him, multiple times before I finally did it, before I finally beat him. But God, it is brutal. It's a long fight because the boss has at least like 3 or 4 different forms,
Yeah.
basically. Geez. I guess there's not much else I can say about that, but good luck.
Hopefully they'll tweak all that. One of the benefits of me not being able to play games as much lately is that by the time I do get to them, they get patched and they get balanced out and things. So that's why I'm still trying to play some other stuff. Like we've got a bunch of games to talk about, but I'm still trying to finish Metro. Still trying to get myself back into Batman. So I'm trying to put these.
Have you beaten any game since we last talked?
Yeah. What's it called? Was it
Oh,
DaVinci?
the House of DaVinci.
Yeah, I finished that. That's
Oh,
the
okay,
one. That's the one I finished. Cause I'm trying to play these games, but then new stuff keeps coming out, and obviously
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. But I mean, it's been a great start to the year already, as we'll talk about in this episode of the podcast. But it's like trying to find time to finish these games that are 10+ hours, and then having new stuff come out. It's a good problem to have. It just means that I'm just kind of always a little bit behind. Like I'm still waiting for patches for Alien, for Performance, same with Behemoth, and so I've got the games that I really want to play, but I'm kind of like thinking, well, I may as well just wait and to get patched. And this is one that seems like they've already put the map in, and if they balance and tweak some things, then by the time I do get to play it properly, it'll be obviously a better game. So
I hope they don't make the final boss easier for you because I want you to suffer like I did.
no, I mean, if it's that hard, I'm not as persistent as you, so
Yeah.
chances are I probably won't finish it, but we'll see. We'll see about by the time I get to it, we'll see what it's like.
Okay, one more thing. In this game, you're going to collect lots of shit, and a lot of it, you're not going to know what the fuck it is. So I would spend a lot of the game confused, like, what the hell is this thing? What is that? The game doesn't really do a great job of explaining what all of this stuff is that you're collecting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you felt that yet.
Yeah, because there's so much stuff like metal and all sorts of different things that you can pick up.
Yeah.
And I still don't really have a full idea of what I need it for. And just like with Shadow Legend, there's stuff that you can collect. Like there's like these things that fly up in the air that you can shoot, and they drop things you can collect. And you can climb things to get other things. So there's so much stuff to collect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you, it's kind of like you don't really know what you're collecting it for, I guess, which could be.
Most of that shit, like any metal, is just gonna get you're just gonna put it into this machine that just grinds it all up and like gives you money for it.
Right.
But then there are other things that you collect that aren't for that, and I don't understand what they're for still when I beat the game. So
Yeah. So they probably could do with better explaining what these things are.
or maybe in the tutorial area, maybe they did explain it, and maybe I just missed
No,
it.
they didn't.
Okay.
They gave you like some stuff to collect, but they never explained what it was for. So.
Okay. All right. You want to go? Well, I saw lots of videos online hyping this up as like 2025's game of the year already, and all. And I don't quite feel like that.
I mean, I think it's potential. It depends on what else comes out the rest of the year.
I would be very sad, personally, if this is the game of the year.
I mean, I think obviously they're going to hype it up, and I think it's a great game. But I mean, I do hope honestly that we get stuff we can enjoy that's better than this, because I want more games. I mean, it's crazy how good last year was, even though we didn't. We had loads of games, but we didn't have one game that like stood out to me as like amazing.
Yeah,
they were just all good games. So I'm hoping that we do have something come out this year, a couple of games where it's like this is really really good, like up there with the best games ever made for VR. But we'll see, because we just don't know what's going to get released, because a lot of times like games get announced and then released within the same year.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be all sorts of stuff coming that we don't know about yet.
Yeah. All right, next game, Pirates VR Jolly Roger. Or should I say Pirates VR Jolly Roger? I think that's the same line I used in my video here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, and I was
like,
"Arr!" Huh?
Yeah. You do a good pirate voice.
Oh, thank you. I think it's just my sick voice helping out.
Is it?
Yeah, that's all it is.
You sound like a pirate when you're sick.
Yeah. My voice does get deeper and kind of more gravelly.
Yeah.
So this was a free key given to us too. Thank you to the developer. I liked this a lot, even though it's pretty, it's pretty indie. I like these exploration games where you can just kind of explore an island. So there's Bootstrap Island. This is kind of like that, except Bootstrap is more that doesn't really have like a narrative where you're going through doing puzzles. That game is just like a survival game.
Yeah.
This game you have to actually find things and like put them together and then use that to solve a puzzle, like a pickaxe, for example. And then you have to break some rocks, and then you have to climb a specific place to get to this place. And like it's like a kind of a linear, even though you can explore anywhere on the island, kind of, it's a linear, you have to go this way, then do this. And so you're exploring, climbing, swimming. There's this beach. This is where you start on the beach. Then there's a cave. Then there's a temple. So all these different environments. It took me about like 3 to 3.5 hours to beat it. So it's not that long. And I think it's $20.
Yeah.
How far did you get into it?
I got to this bit where you're in like a prison.
Oh, that part's the hardest part of the game.
Yeah, I died twice. Because they start coming at you, and you can fight them with like, you can use like your lantern thing where you press and hold the trigger to fire like some sort of orb thing, and then you get a pistol which you can use to shoot them as well.
Yeah.
But then there's a bit where you walk down this like section, and there literally loads of them come at me, and then I back up and fall into a trap and die, and I did that twice.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, I need a break, because I've been playing it for a fair bit at that point. But I do like it. I mean, like the bit where you're showing on the video where you start out on the island. I mean, it's not like amazing looking, but it's good. It's like you can tell it's been made by a small indie developer, but it also looks good. I mean, it's not a bad looking game, and I do like the fact that, like you say, it does feel open, but you do ultimately have to go a certain way. And this parrot, which is talking to you, which can be a bit annoying, but he directs you basically a lot of the time to where you need to go and what you need to do.
Don't you
And
wish
yeah,
you
there
could
is some.
fly? He's always like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he's a bit of a dick. I wish I could. Yeah, hopefully you can kill him at the end. But you,
I
yeah,
think
you have
oh
to like
wait, I
solve.
did shoot him at one point.
And
I
did it kill
shot
him?
him, and then it ended the game. Yeah,
Oh,
and then I had to start over at the checkpoint.
right.
Yeah, because you get a gun later in the game, and I shot him with it. Yep. Wait, what were we? Sorry,
Yeah.
I interrupted.
No, it's fine.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, I mean, I haven't finished it, but I like the fact that, you know, I really like going through these, like, I know it's a bit of a thing that happens a lot, but I like going through like dark caves and stuff with a torch or a lantern or something, like some sort of like proper lighting where you can get all of, you know, the dynamic shadows and everything. I just feel it just has a certain atmosphere to it that I really enjoy in VR, and so it's got that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's definitely not VR game of the year material, but it's a good game. It's one of those games we'll play, and then, you know, we'll probably end up forgetting about at one point. But it's a good game. There's loads of games like that where we've played them, we've enjoyed them, but ultimately we kind of forget about them after a while. But it's a good game. It's a solid VR game.
yeah. Did you get to this part where you see like this jaguar or whatever? Right
Yeah,
here.
it's blocking you. You can't go past because then you've got to then.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that looks
Oh
pretty.
no!
This
Oh,
one.
I didn't see that bit.
This one,
No.
I was like, oh shit, this one looks pretty real in VR. I was like, damn, this is impressive.
Oh no, I didn't see
Yeah.
that actually. I thought you meant the other one on the
Yeah.
beach.
The one on the beach doesn't look real at all, but that one looks really cool.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's
Yeah.
annoying.
uh,
Little secret.
yeah, little secret. And then I'm like trying to climb because I want to get up to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go forward a little bit. Like there's zip lining. So here's like a zip line.
Lots of climbing. There's a
Yeah,
lot of climbing in this game.
yeah. And I thought the climbing worked well, but like Fluke on their podcast said he didn't like the climbing.
I mean, it just feels like the climb. It's one-to-one basic climbing in VR. It works
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I liked it. Like
Uh,
I was comparing it to Behemoth. I hate Behemoth's climbing because it like slows you down. The game like
yeah, it's got that like it's got
yeah,
that like kind of it's not bouncing, but it's like artificial kind of where you have to really slow with your hands, otherwise it doesn't work. Whereas this, you
yeah,
can just climb like
yeah,
whatever. You can just move as fast as you want.
yeah, exactly.
It works fine. I don't think it. I think the climbing's fine. There's a
Mhm.
lot of climbing in it, and I think it works good enough.
Yeah. And so the part that you were talking about, that's not in my video, the part with the skeletons. Yeah, you have the first weapon you get is a lantern and it just kind of shoots a, a ball of light out. It's really
Yeah.
awkward to use. And yeah, they send a bunch of skeletons at you and all you have is this shitty lantern and it runs out of oil. So then you're like, "Oh shit, I don't have any ammo." So you have to then you have to go into your inventory and get the oil and put it in the lantern while these skeletons are coming at you. I got trapped into a room. I don't know if you came to the same room. It was in a room, and then I was like, "Oh shit, there's the gun." But there were two skeletons coming at me, and then the game saved it right in that room. It saved for
Oh
some
shit.
because I guess that was an important room. But every time it reloaded to save, the skeletons were right there with me in the room,
Right.
and I had to reload that save. I mean, at least 30 times
Wow.
before I could fucking survive.
Wait, I
'Cause
didn't have that. Yeah.
okay. You said you fell into a trap. So was it like a trap in the ground or something?
Did you not do that? Yeah. There's like when you go out where you get the gun, and then you go through another area. There's a literal like hole in the floor.
I remember the hole in the floor, but I didn't fall in it.
You fall in that, and it just like you can't get out, so you die.
Oh, okay.
And I did that twice because I was walking backwards trying to shoot the skeletons,
Yeah.
and just walked into the freaking hole. And I did that twice, and I was like,
Yep.
that just pissed me off a little bit. So I just quit. I haven't been back to
Okay.
it since.
Okay. Once you get that gun, the game ends up giving you so much gunpowder that you can just the skeletons aren't a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Good.
becomes a joke.
Mm.
And there's like a final boss fight and all this stuff. It's pretty cool, but I think this game was announced years ago. So
Yeah.
for how long it's been in development, I think they didn't actually finish it. I think they probably intended to make a lot more than they did.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very small indie developer who's made it, and they've made it probably in the spare time, maybe over multiple years. So
Yeah.
it's a good. It's better than I expected. I somehow thought this was going to be really shit. So I'm pleasantly surprised, but just don't expect anything like incredible.
Yeah. So right in the video now, this is the part where and it looks cool in here, and there's, as Rune would say, real-time dynamic shadows
Yeah,
from your
that's a 10 out of
lantern.
10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 now. I'm sure he gave the game a glowing review because of these
Yeah.
shadows.
I looked.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, of course.
and you mentioned it as well.
Because did I say it in my review?
No, he mentioned the
Oh, okay.
shadows and everything.
I who knows? I might have. He might have,
I mean, it's cool.
influenced me.
And that's what I mean. Like these dynamic shadows are cool if they're relevant. Like if he complains about games that don't even really need it.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're in a cave and it does make a difference to the atmosphere and how it feels to be in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not every game needs it, depending on what it's doing.
Yeah, when I'm in a game that doesn't have it, I'm not thinking about it much. I'm not like, oh, I wish I had dynamic shadows and lighting. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on the game.
Yeah.
It depends how realistic they're trying to be. Like maybe Metro Awakening, does that have it? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it's got it.
Okay.
In certain, like when you got your flashlight and stuff on PC anyway.
Okay. I mean, maybe a game that's like trying to be realistic like that, maybe it would bother me. I don't know, but it's not a big deal to me. So I guess that's it on Pirates VR Jolly Roger. I recommend it, but it's not very long. But I like the puzzles. The puzzles are pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not easy, but they're not super hard. They make you think a little bit. There's a little bit of exploration. Like there's a bit where you have to go through like this underwater section. You're swimming, which took me a little bit of time to figure out where I needed to go and what I need to do. But it wasn't too bad. You have like little air pockets where you've got to like keep yourself full of oxygen. So it's got a good bit of diversity. You're climbing. You've got a bit of combat. You've a bit of swimming. It's good. It's a good solid game.
Yeah. Once you got to the end of the swimming, were you like, what the fuck? Where's my pickaxe? That's what I was like.
Well, you got to go and find the.
Yeah.
I think they tell you. Yeah.
Did they tell you, or maybe I just wasn't listening?
The pirate says something about you.
I think I just tuned him out. That must have been the issue.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. All right. Next game, Action Hero. I think. Did you buy this?
Someone gifted it me actually.
Okay.
Someone from work. Because after you talked about it, I really wanted to try it because I've obviously Superhot's such a good game, and I just really want to play a game like Superhot again. So this game just fits that. It's just Superhot. I mean, that's just what it is. It's Superhot, but better. It's just really. I really like this game. I think it's not obviously like in terms of the overall game. It's not obviously the best game ever made, but it's the most fun I've had in VR for a while. I feel like because it's just because of the basic gameplay loop of you're in room scale, you're having to physically move your body. As you move, time moves. It's just got that basic Superhot fun, which is just really addictive, and it's just really well made as well. Like the levels as you go through, they progressively get harder. There's like these cool action scenes where you've got like motorbikes flying, velociraptors jumping at you. You're on a train. You've got like the big boss battle. It's just really well made, and it's just more Superhot, but not Superhot. It's just And if you like super hot, then you're really gonna like this. It's just really good.
Yeah, I beat it. So there's 5 levels. There's the Indiana Jones level. Then there's like a heist type of level, but maybe it's also some sort of cyborg level in the heist level. Then there's a ninja level. Then there's a
Yeah.
matrix level. Then there's a mix level where they kind of just mix all of that shit up in one. That's the last level. But then once you beat the game, you unlock more levels that are harder, and they add more raptors to the levels.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's the same scenes, but they just make it harder and put a bunch of raptors in there.
Right.
And also each group of levels has these like little cups, little coffee cups to find. So if you're interested in collectibles, you could you just have to shoot them if you see them. So sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to look around and they'll be hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know if getting them all unlocks anything.
No
But
idea.
yeah, I enjoyed everything in this game.
Yeah,
Only
the other one, because there was another game, Vendetta Forever, that came out. But apparently
I don't like that at all. But you do.
Well, they've
right?
added a patch. I've not played. I played a very small amount of it, but they've added a patch now, which makes it like super hot. Because obviously, the standard game is where you like have to grab a weapon to then transport you. I don't know if it still has that, but apparently now it's more like super hot, where if you stand still, nothing moves. So it probably makes, because I've heard the game's really hard. I think it probably makes the game a lot more enjoyable. So I'm still want to play that at some point, but obviously this is my main game to play at the moment.
I couldn't even get past Vendetta Forever's demo, like the first level. I couldn't get past it, and I'm persistent.
Yeah, yeah. I think it might be worth re-looking at it at some point with the super hot type movement. What they've got.
Well, there's one other thing I was going to say. Oh yeah, Fast Travel Games is a developer, and they're in the news recently. They laid off 30 people because their sales, I guess their game sales haven't been good enough lately.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate.
They haven't really released like. I mean, their games when they've never been to me that amazing. The best thing they ever released was it Justice? What was that vampire one?
Vampire the Masquerade Justice.
Yeah, I thought that was the best one they've done.
Probably didn't sell well.
Maybe not. But yeah, they've not, like last year they didn't really release, like they released this, but this wasn't their game. It was like they published this game, published Into the Radius on PSVR 2. So they haven't really had like a big game like they usually have, the big game every now and then. So hopefully they're working on something, but it sounds like because I think they've got rid of 30 staff, and the whole company apparently had 60 staff. So they've basically cut the staff in half. Like half of the staff have now let go, which is big. That's a big cut.
Are they the developers of Apex Construct?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. All right. You want to go to the next game?
Yeah.
Okay, the Crysis VR mod. So this mod, this might be Gamertag's video. The Crysis VR mod was already out, but it didn't have motion control support. It just recently got motion control support added, and this is by the same guy that did the Far Cry mod, and what he also did Half-Life 2. Yeah, what's his name?
Ballistic.
Yeah, and it F Holder or something. Also
Holder, yeah.
Yeah,
I think his name's Holder.
Yeah. So did you try this? I know you played this without motion controls. Did you try it with motion controls?
Yeah, I've tried it with motion controls. Yeah.
Okay, so my main issue is that I never liked Crysis in the first place. Like, on PC, I love Far Cry, but something about Crysis, maybe it's because they require you using those special suit abilities. For some reason, it never clicked with me. You feel the same way?
Yeah, I did try Crysis a long time ago, and I didn't really get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really why. I think a lot of it is just down to, it's quite a hard game actually. Like the enemies really, it feels like the enemies can see you before you see them sometimes. Like, because obviously there's lots of leaves and foliage and stuff,
Yeah.
and I feel like the enemies can see you through that sometimes when you can't see them. So it's really hard to be stealthy in this game, and so you end up just always getting into firefights, but then you haven't got much ammo, so you're constantly like trying to find ammo from other enemies. So yeah, it just doesn't have that flow that I would personally like. I enjoy it, but it's not like it's not a game where I was like, oh wow, Crysis in VR, that's awesome. It was just kind of like, yeah, it'll be cool to play, but it's not a game that I was particularly that bothered about anyway, like
Yeah.
you, I guess.
I went all the way through Far Cry and loved it in VR. Even though Far Cry is a game like that too, where the enemies see you way too easily.
Yeah,
But in that game, I could manage still and take them out. In this game, once they see you, it's like, Jesus. There's just so many enemies coming at you.
yeah, it's
And
definitely a tough game.
I was also aiming with the iron sights instead. You could turn on a little ball that would help you aim. But so I
Yeah,
just did the iron sights, and that was really hard to aim with.
you can add a laser sight, like if you go
Oh,
into
you
your
can?
attachments.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can add attachments to each gun. Like where if you press this suitability button,
Mm-hmm.
the bottom, I think the bottom left corner of that, you can do like attachments. So you can add like a silencer. You can add like a reflex sight, so you can
Mm-hmm.
actually aim with a proper sight. You can add laser sights, torch. So there's
How do
definitely
you
ways to.
how do you do that in VR?
So you press the button that does like the suit's abilities, where you can do
Uh-huh.
like strength and all that.
Yeah.
Then it's just one of those options. It's like the bottom left hand corner.
It was grayed out
If
for
you,
me.
oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, shouldn't be. I was using it myself.
Huh.
You have to have a weapon in your hand to do it though.
You have to have a weapon in your hand. Maybe I
Yeah,
didn't when I was trying. I don't know.
because you can let go of the weapons. Maybe you were just on fists or something. But yeah, if
Maybe.
you have to have whatever weapon you have in your hand, that will then pull up a like an option menu for you to add attachments to it.
Oh, okay. So it looks good, but and it was really cool. There's a VR tutorial while you play.
Yeah,
So
it's really well done.
yeah, the mod author. So while you're playing, there's text on screen that he somehow made display in this flat game, telling you how to control the game with your motion controllers. I haven't seen that in a mod before. I don't think.
Did Far Cry not do that as well? I can't remember.
I don't know. Maybe it did, and I just don't remember.
And Half-Life maybe as well. But yeah, I mean they're all by the same guy. So
Same guy, yeah.
uh,
I had
yeah, I mean,
problems. Sorry, problems driving. Like, did you try to drive a vehicle and then
no,
okay, it was
because
way
it's
too
all done with the
sensitive.
thumbsticks and stuff. And
Yeah.
just like I'd rather just walk. And as soon as you
Okay.
get in a car, you're just gonna draw attention to yourself or whatever. So I never bothered with it. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those games where I think you're better off kind of like trying to avoid people and
Yeah.
use your cloaking device thing and stuff. You also have this ability where you can run really fast. Sometimes I would just like run really fast past people and stuff. So it were.
Oh, and when you pick up people, like in the flat game, you could see their face there, and they're like, ah, while you're holding. In this one, you can't see them because I
You know,
tried it. Unless maybe when I was carrying them, I had them on my shoulder.
oh, maybe I don't know.
I was trying to do the whole thing where you see their face out in front of you, and I couldn't make it work.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like the shooting, like obviously when you're walking around with a gun, shooting and stuff, that all feels good. But then everything else, like when you get in a car, obviously it's just driving with thumbsticks. When you get on the turrets, it's all done with thumbsticks. When
Yeah,
you
the right
yeah,
thumbstick. Yeah, is how you
and when you
control
grab
the
like
turret.
something and to throw it, you just press the trigger. So it's like it's got the basics there to make it feel good. But there's a lot of things like I didn't feel like I feel like if you could probably like walk up behind people and pick them up and throw them and stuff, which would make the game easier. But I found myself whenever I'd do that, I'd find myself like struggling with the controls because I'm in VR. I'm expecting to be able to do all like these VR interactions, and then you just like pressing buttons and stuff, which doesn't feel that good. So there's definitely parts of it which don't feel that great, but I mean, for a free mod for a game, that's obviously
Yeah, you can't complain.
you can't
Really.
complain. No.
I kept seeing like whenever there was something you could pick up on the screen, it would say, "Do you want to pick it up?" So like when I'm walking through the forest, it would be pick up, then flash pick up, flash pick up, flash pick, because every single stick that was on the ground,
Yeah.
it would be asking me if I want to pick it up. So that was a little annoying. And then what
Yeah.
do? You press a button or you press grip, and then
I think you just press grip and
and then it's
left hand or
automatically in
something.
your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was difficult. Like, sometimes I would try to pick something up, and if you weren't stood in the right spot, then I'd be like walking around, like trying to find the right area to pick something up. And like I said, there were a few little niggles like that.
So this is one where if I play it again, I'm just gonna wait for the mod the dev to update this one, because like Far Cry, he did ton more updates after I already beat that game. So I'll just wait and see if I like the game by then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's adding more to it or not.
I saw him add more after I tried
Is
it.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like lately he hasn't. In the
No.
past few days he hasn't.
No.
Maybe he's sick.
No, I mean he's a lead developer for RoboQuest VR. So
Okay. He's busy.
he's working on that, yeah.
Okay.
This is something he did over Christmas break. He said he just like over 2 weeks he just made some breakthroughs and managed to get it finished. But now he's back to working on
RoboQuest.
the RoboQuest
And other
Probably not
things
got the
you can't say, I bet.
I mean, he's only working on RoboQuest, but yeah,
Okay.
there are other things going on. But RoboQuest, the game that he's developing, yeah.
He was working on a 2017 Prey mod, but he said he can't get the motion controls to work. So I don't know when he's going to get back to that one.
Yeah, that's one of those things he might come back to maybe when he has some time to do it.
Okay.
Maybe.
So I think Alex is hearing me clear my throat, but hopefully no one else is.
Yeah, I did hear you. It's fine.
All right. The next game is the House of DaVinci VR, which Alex beat. I've only played this once. But apparently, how long did it take to beat it?
About 4 hours. So it's similar length to a room VR.
Okay.
I just wanted to. We talked about it last week, where it's basically the room VR, but slightly like with a different theme. The main thing I want to say is that after finishing the game, I did find myself getting a little bit frustrated sometimes with, like, it can be a bit fiddly sometimes, like doing things with your hands, and also some of the puzzles would really, like, you could easily miss them. So I found myself like getting a bit frustrated, not really knowing what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
The game's got a good hint system where you press a button and it shows you like which station you should be at, which I found really useful. Like sometimes I just couldn't be bothered to like keep having to go to all the stations and poke around just trying to figure out what to do. So I would just use the hint system, so at least I knew where I needed to be in the room for the next part of the puzzle. And then if you hold the button down, it like gives you another hint, and then if you do it again, it gives you like literally tells you what to do. But even with that system, there were still times where I still didn't know what to do because it didn't like fully explain to me what I needed to do. So then I ended up having to look a couple of things up online, which always annoys me a little bit with puzzle games because it just ruins that flow where you like if you get stuck where you just really like one of them was this where you've got to pull this rope to move something, and I didn't realize that I could actually pull the rope. So I was like trying everything around to try and solve the puzzle, and I had no clue what to do because I didn't realize that you could literally there's a rope that you can grab and pull. So it was just like little things like that, like there's little things that you can poke and stuff which you could easily miss. And so I think if you like the room, yeah, it's definitely worth picking up, but it's not as good as the room. Personally, I found that was because that was made for VR from scratch. I found that way more balanced and everything worked well. Whereas because this is originally a non-VR puzzle game that's been put into VR, you can tell sometimes things are a little bit like finicky. You can't always get things to do what you want first time. And I also found the puzzles were a little bit obtuse sometimes where I just didn't know what to do. But overall, it's good. Like I can definitely recommend it still, even with those complaints.
Do you remember in this, like, how does it let you know, or does your hand light up or anything once something's interactable? Maybe it doesn't.
No,
Okay.
no.
That would help.
It would help, but I don't really like that too much because then it just
Okay.
like everything's just like as you're moving your hand around, loads of stuff are lighting up.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But yeah, it would help definitely with certain things like with the rope. If I knew how to, if I knew I could pull the rope, I would have probably figured that puzzle out myself.
Yeah.
Maybe I was just being thick and I just didn't realize what I could do. But yeah, it's a good solid puzzle game that's really not got many sales from the amount of reviews it's got, and I think it deserves a lot more attention than it's getting. But for whatever reason, it's not quite in the traction it probably should have. So the quality of the game it is, and like we didn't get many puzzle games last year. I didn't feel like, and this is one of the better ones we had.
Yeah. All right. I need to go back to that one.
Yeah.
We'll go to the next one. Arcade Time Capsule 3.5. So this is another release. I did a video of this before. This isn't my video. I did, what is it? Maybe I did 3.0 and this is 3.5, where they've added the developer. It's just a single guy. He's added 118 new games to this arcade. So that's a total of 317 arcade games.
Wow.
It's 6 floors of arcade games in VR. And
that's all pre-installed.
Yeah, it's all pre-installed. I don't know why he's looking out the window here. Okay, so this guy is slowly walking into this new floor. This one focuses a lot on older, like 80s, mostly older games. So some of them have these like kind of this Japanese style small sit-down cabinets, but I prefer the stand-up style of this other room. And so it's like 11 gigabytes. You can download this. You can just join the Discord, the Arcade Time Capsule Discord. And it's just a Google Drive link where he keeps this. You download it. You don't have to even install it. You just download it and unzip it and then double click the exe, and then you're inside this. And you're going to see all the art and all the attracts, screens, and you hear all these arcade games like you're really there. So if you get close to this one right here, like Phoenix, you hear Phoenix's sounds louder than the other ones. And as you get close to Star Trek, you're going to hear Star Trek. So it's really cool. So hearing all that at the same time is awesome. You can add your own MP3s to this if you want. It used to come with MP3s from the 80s and 90s, but I think because of copyright issues, he took it out. But you can add that in. There's even a music video screen on another wall where like music videos from the 80s and 90s are playing, but without the music. This is completely free. So if you like arcade games, so you can see a video playing in the background. I like just walking around this and just looking at stuff and feeling like I'm in an arcade. Playing these, so the issue with playing them is you have to have specific MAME 2010 and MAME 2014 ROMs, like ROMs for specific versions of MAME from back then. And even I have a hard time finding those. And my name is mame-fan. Okay? That's who I am on YouTube. So MAME gets updated every month, and the ROMs get, a new ROM set every month. So these are really old versions of MAME. So like if I tried to get these ROMs that work in this arcade to work on my current setup of MAME, probably most of them wouldn't even work. So obtaining these ROMs can be a pain in the ass. But you can, if you get all those ROMs, all the correct ROMs. So some games use MAME 2010 and some games use MAME 2014. You can play every single game in this arcade. And some people will get an arcade stick and kind of line it up with the virtual arcade control panel and then just stand there and play them. I haven't gone to those lengths because at home I have my own real arcade cabinet that can play every single game that's in this arcade. It can play them all. So
yeah, so it's more like just nostalgia trip of going through this environment rather than playing the games yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And just seeing all the art and all of that. Yeah. Because if I want to actually play it, I'm just going to play them for real on my real arcade cabinet. Yeah. So, yeah, I recommend if you like arcade games at all, definitely check this out. 6 floors, 317 games. It's awesome. And I mean, I guess I should put a link to the Discord where you can get all this and get all the information. There's all these people there talking about their settings and how they set it up and what joysticks they use and all this stuff. So the next thing is Underdogs. So this was on sale. I think it was a pretty good sale. Do you remember what the
I
sale
remember
was?
you bought it. I didn't actually buy this one.
Oh, okay. So this is a first-person cockpit mech arena brawler. It's kind of like Gorn, but you're in a mech, and it's obviously it's a lot better than Gorn. And so this was some people's like game of the year last year.
Yeah.
I was impressed and actually surprised by it. I didn't think I'd like it at all, but I was enjoying myself.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good.
I was surprised because I watched gameplay footage of this and I thought, oh, it just looks so just repetitive and boring. But when you're actually in the game, like it's got that gorilla tag movement where you're like grabbing the floor and like moving yourself around, which is actually really good fun.
Yeah.
And it's really well done in this game, and you can like bash into enemies and stuff, and you can get this claw thing where you can grab hold of them, like they'll fly towards you, and you can like catch them in the air with your claw, and then use them like throw them or bash them with your other hand. It's really fun. It's just the same thing over and over, which is my main problem with the game. And it's a roguelike, so it's not got any sort of. It's like it's got progression, but it's just like more arenas that just look the same with the same enemies, slightly different enemies, more upgrades. It's just I played it for like 30 minutes and I enjoyed it, but I'll never play it again.
Yeah, and roguelites are your kryptonite. So
yeah, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah,
personally.
And yeah, so you go through these battles, and then after that you go through this world where you like talk to like thugs and stuff. You talk to dudes who are maybe they work in a garage and they'll like offer to fix up your mech. Some people will do trades with you, but then some of it's risky, like some of it's gambling. It's like, well, are you gonna trust this shady dude, or he could steal your gear? And I'm not sure how I feel about all that. There's a lot of gambling in this game. I'm not really into gambling.
I'll be honest, I just wanted to get some upgrades, put them on my mech, and just get back into the fighting. And you just spend so much time in menus. Just it's like you say, where you just aiming a laser pointer at things and like just clicking on things and then reading stuff, and people are talking to you with subtitles, and it's just. I just I just want to get. I was just trying to get back to the game as fast as I could. And even then, it felt like I had to jump through so many different menus just to get back to the game. It kind of annoyed me, to be honest.
It was confusing too. Weren't you confused a lot of the time of like how to get through this? Menus?
I was like clicking on menus and it was taking me somewhere else, and then it's like, oh, do you want to risk this? And I'm like, I don't care. Like, just give me some choice of rewards, or give me upgrades, give me some money to spend on upgrades, and let me move on. I don't want to. And then you can pick one person or another person, and they've got like different rewards and challenges and stuff, which is cool. But it was just like I just want to get back in and fight. I didn't want to do all that crap, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I like the art style that they were going for, and I don't really like hip hop and rap and shit, but I kind of like the music a little bit. It's sort of like I don't know. Would you call it Jamaican rap or something?
It's something like that. It's like grungy type of. Is it British sort of? It's not something I would listen to personally, but it works really well for the game. Like the overall game, the vibes, the visual art style, the music, everything works really well, and it gives it a really good feel. Like it don't feel generic at all. It feels, even though it's technically doing a lot of stuff that's been done before, it's been done so well and wrapped up in this like blanket of coolness that I didn't mind it. Apart from just, I felt like there was just too much of the menus and too much of the talking to people and stuff. Which for me, I think if they cut that down a little bit, I would have enjoyed it more. But I still overall the overall game it's really well made.
Yeah, I'm looking for an image to see if there's a picture I took. Do I have that? A picture I took from the game. I thought I took a screenshot. Maybe I don't have it. Whatever. It was a screenshot I took from the game. Forget that. All right. So, oh yeah, and they call you bruv,
Bruv.
a lot.
Hey, bruv.
Bruv.
What you doing, bruv?
Have you heard that?
gonna-
Have you heard anyone say that in your life, bruv?
In this country, people use it. It's
Oh, they
like a
do?
London thing, yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
It's for like rude boys, like, oh yeah, bruv. What are you doing?
Okay.
What's the time, bruv? Can I have your watch, bruv? No, that's sort of
It's fucking annoying.
and like gangster type people who think that they're fucking hard and all that shit.
Okay. All right. Next game is Alien Rogue Incursion. I beat this one too. This is a different video. Let me. I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna back it up. So it took me like 9.5 hours. I played with. See how the lighting is like flashing?
Yeah.
I would see a lot of that while I was playing. A lot of textures would flash weirdly and stuff. And I found out it's because I had TSR on. For some reason, this game has some issue with TSR. So I would get lighting artifacts like this, and I would get these white flashes.
Right.
At weird times. Like in this video.
TSR on, bruv.
Yeah, I had the TSR on, bro. That's true. So I tried it with TAA on, and then I tried it with no anti-aliasing, and then there were no more weird artifacts or flashing. So just let you know. So like when stuff like these I can't remember the goddamn name of these things now. Brain fart.
Facehuggers?
Facehugger, yeah. When the facehuggers would jump in my face, I would end up getting all these white flashes, for example. Right. And then there was a part where I got stuck where an alarm is blaring and I just couldn't proceed. There was a door I needed to go through and it was locked and I just couldn't get through. I found out later that, so the game thought that there was a xenomorph in there with me and it was waiting for me to kill the xenomorph, but there was no xenomorph. So I don't know if they, it's been a while since I've played this game. So they've done a lot of patches. So maybe they've patched stuff like, because a lot of people are having progression bugs like that.
Yeah, they've patched some stuff with I remember reading something about an alarm or something.
Yeah.
So they've definitely patched some stuff up.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, there's a pretty cool end fight. But then the ending of the game, it's a cliffhanger. And it left me going like, huh? What? So that's where you're going to be left with. And I guess part 2 will explain what the hell that was. But I guess it left me feeling a little bit down on the game, like not quite as high as I was. I said this was my number 2 game of the year, and I think it still is. Just because I love the alien theme and the environment so much.
Yeah.
But
they've added a few things. I mean, obviously they've still not worked on the performance yet, which is the main thing I'm waiting for. But they've added some different things, which I don't know if because you played it before, maybe the patch. But like with the motion tracker, obviously, like even if you've got the motion tracker on your hip and there's an enemy near you, it'll still start pinging. Yeah. Apparently they've had an option to turn that off now, so that it only works when you're holding it. Which I don't know how I feel about whether I want to turn that on or off. Would you want to turn that off, or would you think you'd rather have it on?
This game is hard. I would need it on. Yeah. The way I did read that they adjusted the time to kill on the Xenos. Right. So maybe they're easier to kill now, so maybe that would be okay. But when I played it, I died so much in this game.
Apparently, they're working on because the enemies are on like a timer, like they just keep spawning in. Apparently,
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that. Which apparently they were also working on. They're working on changing a lot of stuff. They're working on making it so you can be more stealthy and like less Xenos will come. They're doing a lot of work in the background, which is what I'm waiting for to play. Just like find the best version of the game, because this is a game I'm really looking forward to playing. But obviously with the performance issues and with these little tweaks that they're making, I feel like I'm just better off waiting for the patches.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd probably wait. So I did these videos with Steam VR as instead of VDXR, and I don't know how much that hurt my performance, because they do recommend to use VDXR if you're using virtual desktop.
Right.
So I don't know.
I think VDXR is supposed to be the better option, but I don't know.
Yeah, I can't figure out. Okay, here's the white. If you
yeah,
notice
you can
that,
see it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewind. So anytime a facehugger would get on me, or sometimes like if a Xeno got close to me, that shit, I paused it, and
Yeah.
I have no idea why. I did a bug report, so they would see that. So we'll see. What were we talking about?
The facehuggers look cool though. I've not
Yeah,
seen
the
the
facehuggers are
facehuggers
cool.
yet.
Yeah, and if you hold one, the other one won't jump at you. But as
What?
soon as I kill that one, that other one jumps on me,
Right.
and there's more white flashing.
That's cool. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to getting to that bit.
Yeah. Do you want
You like
Do you want me to tell you when that is in the game?
No. I
Okay.
don't want to spoil.
Okay. All right.
Is there a lot of facehuggers in the game?
Unfortunately, not.
Because that's one thing I was hoping they'd add a lot more in, but
Yeah, unfortunately, not. Yeah.
they never use the facehuggers. Even the films, like they never use the facehuggers much. Like in the games, like
Until Romulus.
yeah, they had a little scene in Romulus where they had some, but
Yeah.
even then, still weren't much in there. Yeah, I love the facehuggers, and I think they're just such a cool little enemy that's scurrying around on the floor and stuff. I think
Yeah.
it's a shame they haven't used them more.
What's scarier, the facehuggers or the Xenos?
I mean, the Xenos, but I think the facehuggers are just challenging. Like obviously, like the head crabs in Half-Life, they had like they got that similar vibe where they're jumping at you, and they could have used that sort of template of how the head crabs in Half-Life moved around and stuff, and like had them more in the game, so you have to take on more of them as a different type of enemy. But obviously they didn't. So.
All right, next one. Aim Assault Demo. I haven't tried this.
Oh, you not? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I saw a post on Reddit showing this stuff, and I thought, I mean, it's an Unreal shooter, but I thought it looked quite cool actually, and it's quite cool. I mean, my gun angle was off a bit, which made it hard for me. I've already contacted the developers about that, because this demo is not actually available yet. I got early access to it. The developers sent me early access to it, so the demo's coming out in a few weeks, or a couple of weeks, or maybe in a week. I don't know. At some point this month. Hopefully they can add. I also said that the music's really too loud and there's no way to turn it down, which I'm also hoping they can fix that. But like the actual, what's the other game that's kind of like Time Crisis type game? I can't remember what it's called now. Where you're behind cover.
Crysis Brigade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is better than that personally. It's like, it's kind of like you move automatically to the next scene, very much like an arcade game where you you'll have enemies come out at a certain point. You've got to quickly take them out as fast as you can, and then you move to the next scene. It feels like Pistol Whip, but like an actual proper shooter, not just a rhythm game type thing. It's like you're moving through these environments. Enemies like in this scene, like the enemies are jumping out, and you like have to time yourself to kill them as quickly as can. It's really cool, and it feels like one of those games where you could replay it a few times and really get to know where the enemies are and like get the timing perfect. And I'm hoping they have like some really cool achievements and stuff, because it could definitely give me an incentive to come back and replay the levels to like master them. But yeah, it's a fun game, and I'm looking forward to seeing like the full version of it. It's definitely something I want to play more of.
The VR YouTubers definitely, they've done videos of this one, and they put Time Crisis VR as like, the thumbnail to to get more clicks.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's kind of like. Although Time Crisis had the whole cover system and everything,
Yeah.
but this doesn't have that.
You don't.
I mean,
It doesn't look like you usually have cover in this.
No, most of the time, like I'm saying, you're moving into an area and you've got. I mean, there are times where they'll have cover that you can use, which you have to physically, right there in that video, you'd have to physically move your body to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, you are basically just kind of like moving forward, quickly take out a bunch of enemies, move forward to the next area. It's not like Crysis Brigade where it was like
That's
enemies
hard.
would keep coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very hard. This is easier than that, but it's still pretty challenging.
And this, it looks like you have time. You have time to actually dodge.
Yeah, you have time to dodge bullets, and you have like a thing where you have like a counter which you can turn off, where it'll tell you how fast you reacted, but how fast you killed an enemy and stuff. So there's an incentive for you to be as fast as you can, and like, it's all about time and getting through it quickly, rather than it flows really nicely. Like the impact you can see from the video, like they've got some destruction, and the way that the enemies die, they die really quickly. They don't take loads of shots, and it feels really good. I really like it, even though it's an on-rail shooter. I just really enjoyed it, and I thought it's a really solid. It's a solid rail on the rail shooter. It's one of the best ones I've tried actually. So.
Okay, next one, Into Black, another game I beat. This I don't know how long it took, but it took pretty long because Quest doesn't tell you how long you spend in games. Toward the end, I felt like it was getting really repetitive because it's mostly the same looking kind of environment, these caves.
Yeah.
The same enemy music. You hear the same enemy music every time you see enemies. It's the same exact music, and you're like, oh, okay. And you just see these little those bug looking things. They come out and you kill them, and they're easy. They're never really much threat at all. So it's a great game. It just gets kind of tedious toward the end, and you do the same boss fight 3 times.
Right.
And then the final boss, from what I can tell, was the same exact fight. I mean, maybe he inflicted more damage or something, but it seemed like the same thing again. I wish they had changed it up more. But it's a great game. You can play co-op with this. I still never played co-op with anybody in this. I was playing all by myself. I know, all by myself. And I guess that's all I have to say. I recommend it. What I think I said it was my number 4 game of 2024.
Yeah. This game I'd like to play co-op with you. I'm hoping it comes to Steam because it's on Quest only, right? It's not on Steam yet. Yeah. I think if it comes to Steam, I'll definitely check it out. But I've got so much stuff to play, and every time we play co-op, we end up just jumping into Walkabout because there's always so much stuff for us to play.
Yeah. So we did you did Walkabout, that Christmas one with Josh, and then you did the Elvis Vegas one with me.
With you, yeah.
Were those the only new ones?
Yeah. But they've added like slingshot stuff. Like there's 3 levels you can play with a slingshot rather than a. I don't know. I want to try them out because I want to see how they work. I don't know how they work. Whether that you still putting the ball into holes or you're like hitting targets or something. I don't know. And they've also apparently added like a mini mode. You can go through 3 of the levels. Like, do you know in the Christmas one where you're like really small in like a normal room? They've added like the ability to do that, but in some of the other levels, so you can be like really small, but in like Venice or I can't remember which levels there are. So they keep adding stuff. That's not just the same stuff. Like I really want to play more of it, but every time we play co-op, all we ever seem to do is play Walkabout, even though we've got other stuff we could play, which is kind of annoying sometimes.
Does the ball stay normal size and you get small, or what?
I think I don't know. That's what I mean. I want to try it and see what it's like.
All right. You're out of games, so we're going to my games. the rest of my games.
Okay.
So I did Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora with the Luke Ross VR mod. This is someone else's video.
Yeah.
And let's see. I'm going to fast forward. So the jungle in this, Pandora is really cool. I just spent a ton of time just walking around in the jungle. But if you look on the right, you can see this black shit on this person's view. Let me go forward. Okay. On the left and right, as this person, when this person turns their head, you'll see on the right now, you'll see this black shit. Anytime I turn my head, I would see black shit on the left or the right, and sometimes on the top too. And I was looking into it, and people were saying maybe it's he did some sort of horizontal and vertical field of view optimization to try to improve performance so that it would render fewer pixels in the periphery. And I don't know if that's what it is, because I turned that feature off, but because in the mod menu you can turn it off, and that caused the game to crash. So then I had to do Control-Delete to get out of the game. But then when I went back into the game with that off, I still saw this black shit on the left and the right. And I still haven't figured it out. Somebody on a forum was saying, try turning off some setting that reduces like judder or something. I can't remember exactly what it was called. I haven't had a chance to do it, but I liked this except for that. But I kind of consider it unplayable if whenever I turn my head, I see black shit. And it's only temporary. It's only when I turn my head. So if you're one of these people that just keeps your head facing forward, you'd be fine. But I don't like to play games that way. You know, some people just use the right analog stick and just use that to turn the whole time they play.
Yeah.
But this jungle is really cool. It started, okay, just like a lot of these games, I think this is an Ubisoft game. There's tons of cutscenes, which is a negative. You play as a what the hell are they called? The Avatar people?
Navi.
The Navi. You play as one of them, so you're really tall. So it feels weird. Because you're not at a normal human height. You're like up much higher.
How does the scale feel? Is it just a scale, so it makes it feel like you're tall,
Yeah.
or does it just?
Yeah. It feels right, but
Yeah.
it's just weird being up high when you're just not used to that as a human. And it looks good, and it ran really well until the jungle. Once I got to the jungle, that's when I think that's only at that point was I starting to see these the black shit on the left and the right. And I put the game settings all the way to low, like everything to low, and I still was seeing it. So I don't know. I fucked around in the jungle. I got a bow and arrow. I killed some people, some bad people. And then it got to this point where it was like, come to our Navi sanctuary. And it's like, it's what Ubisoft does in all their games, like Far Cry games. You meet all the nice people, and then you're in this sanctuary, and you go talk to this person, and then go talk to this person, and then go talk to and I was like, all right, I'm done. At that point, I don't know. Maybe I'll go back. We'll see. It wasn't bad. So then I also tried Indiana Jones and the Great Circle with the Luke Ross VR mod. This game starts out, it's cool. It doesn't start out with a bunch of fucking cutscenes. You start out just walking down this jungle path with these other guys. But just even from the very beginning, I was just like, this just doesn't look right. Like the jungle and everything looked fine. But these people walking, anything moving like these people looked really weird to me. Like almost kind of like when things are different in one eye than the other. It was just didn't look right. And what you end up realizing with this whole scene in the beginning of the game is it's like 100% recreation of Raiders of the Lost Ark that you play through.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty cool. And I got
Did you fix it?
I wasn't able to. This had that same black shit on the left and the right, and it didn't look good enough. And I'm using a 4090, and my performance was still bad.
Yeah.
Now maybe there's some magical settings you need to do, but
Mm,
it was a real struggle to run it. I've seen
yeah.
some of these YouTubers say Indiana Jones in VR is incredible. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not.
I think they're just willing to play with it not looking that great, and they just want to be in the world so bad that
Yeah.
I think you can put it like a mono mode where you turn the 3D off, so it's
Oh,
just
I would never do that.
yeah. Some people play it like that, like they'd rather just play it like that. But
Yeah, I've seen people on Reddit saying, "Well, that's just put it in mono mode. That's the solution." I'm like, "That's not a fucking solution. That's not even an option."
yeah,
Um so this person in this video, so then you go into this like tomb where, it's a total recreation, like I said, of Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is cool.
yeah,
Let's see. You go to this little, what is this thing called? I don't know.
I don't know.
This relic, whatever, and he does the sandbag thing. Then of course the ball comes. I refunded the game because it's $70, and I was just like, no, this does not perform well enough. It doesn't look good enough for me to pay $70. So then after I decided no on this mod, I was like, well, let me at least just try it in flat for a little while. So I was playing it flat, and I did the same thing with Avatar. I played Avatar flat for a little while, and I was just like, God, I can't play games like this anymore.
Yeah,
I cannot. It looks so weird. When I'm so used to, especially a first person game, I'm so used to 3D that I don't
it
even
just
know
looks
how to.
flat.
Yeah, it's just so flat, and I can't even describe how weird it feels to me now.
It just feels underwhelming to me, like playing games
Yeah,
without any sort of 3D. It's like just I don't know. I mean, there's loads of people that can just go back and play them, but I've not been able to do it.
yeah. I
It's
have
just
in this room, my VR room, I have a 4K OLED that has like HDR and all that shit, and it still looks like shit to me. Like I just can't do it.
yeah,
I don't know, but I can play like a 2D platformer, no problem, on a flat screen
yeah.
game. But these types of games, I just can't do it. I don't know.
I'm with you.
Okay, okay. Next game, Astra. This is an MR game for Quest 3. This is Upload VR's video. This is Don Hopper, VR gamer dude, playing this. This was pretty cool. Did you ever do Spheres? That came out maybe
Yeah,
in the Rift days.
yeah.
So this is by the same producer, so it's kind of like that.
Right.
It's kind of artsy and kind of emotional. And you start out
Right.
looking through this box, looking at these different pictures and pulling out videotapes and stuff. And he's playing Star Trek in the background, I guess intentionally, probably, because this game is it's pretty reminiscent of Star Trek.
Right.
All right, so he's putting these pictures up, and what it does is it kind of like turns your room into a spaceship. I guess that's going to happen now. His animals are walking around. I'll just fast forward. Okay, it's turning into a spaceship. And you travel to Jupiter and then some moons of Jupiter and some moons of Saturn. Basically, you're looking for elements or molecules that could produce life.
Right.
And so the woman behind Spheres, her name was Eliza McNitt.
Yeah.
I don't know if her voice is in this, but there's some woman talking the whole time. Probably a different woman. And so she's kind of guiding you through this, and then this flying thing is also guiding you through, and you have this control panel that has on it Jupiter, and then Europa and Titan and Enceladus, which are all moons where it's been thought that there might be life in our solar
Yeah.
system. And it has this cool teleporter thing. Let me see. I'm gonna right here, he's gonna walk over to where the teleporter is. You stand in the teleporter, and then the next thing you know, you're on the surface of the planet. So in this one, well, he's not on the surface of Jupiter because Jupiter doesn't have a surface. He's kind of like floating in this cage thing. The least impressive of all of these was Jupiter because you can tell from this video, it's just very static. I would imagine that if you're on Jupiter, it's going to be like undulating and swirling and
clouds, so it should be.
It's just you would think you would be seeing a bunch of stuff moving. So what you do is you look around you and you'll see there are like different molecules out in the distance. You stick your hand out and you kind of have to time your hand. Oh, it's all hand tracking only.
Right.
So you put your controllers down and you time your hand movement. It's kind of a little mini game thing. You time your hand movement to kind of capture the element, and then you pull it into you, and that's all you do at each place, like Jupiter and Europa, Enceladus, Titan. And once you collect all of those, you go back to your ship and you kind of do an analysis of what you've collected. And those things look really cool. I don't know if you saw earlier. Did you see those things that look like rock structures?
Yeah.
Those things look really cool in the headset. They look like pretty much real, very realistic. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So the one you're seeing now, if you're looking on YouTube, this one looks pretty cool. I think this is Titan. And I think the water is actually moving.
Right. So does it look actually good? I mean, that's the main thing.
Yeah, most of them look good. Jupiter doesn't. But Titan, Enceladus, Europa, and then there's another one they show. So they take you, at the end, they take you to, I don't remember if it was a planet or a moon. They take you to a planet or a moon in another solar system where we think there might be life. And that one looked cool too. But you see how you're collecting these molecules. Oh yeah, you have to do a swipe up to turn on your like view where you can see them. And that was ethane.
How much is this again?
Shit, I don't.
What's the name of it?
Oh, this is Astra.
Astra. Okay.
Astra. Astra. And it was on the Quest store. I think it was on sale. I might have gotten it for 10.
I want to play it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, cool. It's not very long.
Right.
I mean, it might be 30 minutes. Spheres isn't long
really
either.
Short.
Yeah, it's short.
Oh.
And do you know how Spheres is kind of weird and artsy? This is a little weird and artsy too, because like you'll be hearing all of these weird breathing noises. It kind of reminded me of Senua's last what was it called? What the hell is that?
Sacrifice.
Senua's Sacrifice. You'll hear weird breathing noises and voices and shit in your ears. You'll be like, ha. You'll hear all that type of shit. Like, what the fuck is that? It's some sort of weird artistic thing they're adding on. I don't know. I think it has something to do with the minerals and molecules that you're collecting. And maybe each one has its own sound. I don't know. But it's cool.
Did you use the Quest Games Optimizer on this?
No, I didn't even try it.
It looks good enough without it.
Yeah, it still looked good. Yeah. This one we're looking at now, I don't remember which one this is. But yeah, they look cool. They look good. This might be Enceladus. I don't remember. Nah, maybe it is. I can't remember.
It's £7.99. So
oh, that's cheap. What does that mean to me? Is it so it's £7? Is that $10 or $15?
12, maybe.
12. Okay, that's I'd say yeah. Is it on sale?
No, it's just normal price.
Oh, that's normal price. Okay.
I'll add it to my wish list.
Okay. Yeah, it was cool. All right, next one is Outta Hand. This was on sale. It's $15 on Steam. It's normally $20. I've been looking at this one for a while. I like the art style. It seemed like it would be interesting. This video is like an hour and 30 minutes, and it's a full playthrough. So You can get through this game fast, apparently. I just couldn't come to grips with the controls because
Right.
I've never played Gorilla Tag, but I imagine this is what Gorilla Tag is like. You just have to slam your hands down. You can do one at a time, but I was usually just doing both arms down to throw myself up into the air. But I just kept missing the platforms and getting frustrated.
Right.
So, I mean, I got pretty far. I played it for over 30 minutes, and then I got to this one part. Let me see if I can. I think right here is the part my voice is struggling. This part right here is where I just said, all right, I give up. There's these platforms that spin. Hey, this guy got crushed. There's these platforms that spin, and you have to time it perfectly to get on them and stay on them before they spin, and then you'll like fall off.
Right.
And I just said, all right, I just can't take any more of this. If the game was like $5, I would have kept it. But at 15, I just said, nah, refund.
Yeah.
Now, this guy is way better than me at this game. But I don't know. It's hard to explain. And I went into the options and I adjusted the sensitivity of the jump. You can the default is 50 and I switched it to 100.
Right.
And I was testing between the two. Like he got through that part. I tried that part, I don't know, 30 times, and then I said, all right, fuck this game. And that was that. So maybe he's already beaten this game before. No, he's doing a
Probably. I mean, that's
fast
why he's
playthrough.
done it in an hour and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's all I have to say about that game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying it, but
Oh, you are going to try it?
I do want to try it. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
looks really cool.
The combat,
it looks.
the combat's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. You throw yourself up in the air, and then you hold grip and you throw your fist down at the enemies, and your fists just kind of like fly to the. It's like your Gumby basically. You see, and your fists get giant, and
Right.
I guess they just stretch. Is how it works.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, it just. What was that other game we just talked about with the mechs? I can't remember what it's called now.
Underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the same thing where you're just like moving yourself around with your hands?
Yeah, but that game you have to. That game you just have a floor, under
Yeah.
you the whole time. This game is a lot of precision platforming. I would love to watch you play this. Actually, that would be entertaining.
Okay.
What was I gonna say about this? I don't know. I can't remember now. So we'll go to the next one. Guardians Frontline. You've had this on your wish list. I don't think you bought it.
Yeah, it's got co-op, and I really want to try it. Did you
So-
play it by yourself?
I played this with the girl I was talking about, my neighbor, because she bought it. She has it for Quest. So she's been playing this a lot for Quest. And she was playing like online with random people. So I said, oh, I'll buy it for PC and try it with you. So I went into it and I was like, okay, this looks okay. I was kind of surprised. I was like, all right, the graphics are better than I expected. And then we went into a co-op game and there was this like, it was like terrible network lag or something. Like I would be standing there seeing nothing, then out of nowhere, I'm dead. And I'm like, what the hell? I don't know if it was like enemies just kind of like dropped on me out of nowhere. It's either I just really suck or the net code for this game really sucks or I don't know what. But I didn't like it at all. And the jump in this game is really strange. This is really big, weird arc that just didn't feel natural. I didn't like the controls. I didn't really like much of anything about this game. But I did only try it. I only tried it once. You can set up robots and you can set up big mechs, sort of like Ed 209, to help protect you. But we just kept getting destroyed. But maybe because she's been playing the game a long time, maybe they put the game up to a high level.
Maybe if it's
And
based on your experience or something.
yeah, because it was just like way too many enemies getting sent at us. And we also played Ancient Dungeon together. Now, Ancient Dungeon I love, and I've played
it's a
this
good
with
game.
you. I will always recommend Ancient Dungeon to anybody. It has co-op with, I think you can have, is it 3 or 4 people? I'm not sure.
I don't know actually, because I think it might be 3, but we've definitely done 3 at least anyway.
Yeah. So she and I played this multiple times, and we finally beat it together. I had the crossbow, and she had, the default sword, but because we beat it, she was able to get the crossbow, so now she has the crossbow.
I think the crossbows. I don't like the crossbow
because it takes too long to reload.
It's just
Right.
too easy with that.
Oh, too easy.
I just find it really boring with the crossbow because you just literally just reload crossbow fire, whereas with the sword and the little dagger,
Yeah.
it forces you have to play differently. I just find it more interesting.
Maybe I should try that instead of being a little bitch with
I'd go
my
back,
crossbow.
yeah, I'd go back to it with that and see how you feel. But it forces you to obviously have to go in there and be more aggressive and dodge and things. Whereas with the crossbow, you can just like hang back and just keep firing over and over again. So.
Okay. All right. I think that's it. Oh, and this is coming out, or maybe this already came out on PSVR 2, and they're getting the multiplayer update also.
Yeah, they're getting the multiplayer update, which is good.
Yeah.
I think is it officially out of, because it was in beta for a while. Is it out of beta now?
Yeah, because I think it's officially out.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good game. I like it.
Because her version on Quest, like, worked with mine automatically. She didn't have to do anything special. So
Right.
that means I would imagine that it's out of beta. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So my upcoming games list is pretty sad. This is what I have. Alien Rogue Incursion on Quest, February 13th. Hitman World of Assassination, March 27th for PlayStation. And Vertigo 2 Into the Aether, March 30th on Steam. I don't know of anything else with a date coming out.
No.
Anytime
There's nothing with a
soon.
date. Yeah.
Like there's Wanderer.
That's fine.
Fragments of Fate. That doesn't have a date. Not that I care, because I already beat Wanderer.
Okay.
You care?
I never beat it, and I do want to play. I'm hoping apparently they've added like content, and they probably tweaked the puzzles and stuff. I think it could be worth a replay for me.
But then you have to buy the game again. It's going to be a really small discount if you're already on Wanderer.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what price it's at. There's that Ghost Town, which was announced by the Room VR game developers, which I don't know when that's coming, but that's coming this year at some point. So we've got a few things, but there's not much. This happens every year, I feel like, though. Every year we go into it feeling like there's nothing coming out.
Yeah.
And then stuff just starts popping up, and we just start getting released. Like, we've already had 2 good releases this year and a good VR mod, so and it's only 1 month in, so I think we should still have a good month. I think this year is still going to be good. I hope there's some really good stuff, though, that's like unannounced, that we're going to be like, whoa, shit, that's coming out. That's going to be cool.
What's that?
Maybe Valve will release something.
Yeah. What's that plane game that was supposed to come out already?
What's it called? Yeah, that looks pretty cool, actually. I can't remember what it's called, though. It's the world of, what's it? Oh, I can't remember. Aces of something?
Aces of Thunder? Aces of Thunder?
Could be. But yeah, it looks really cool. Although I do find flying games get a bit boring after a while, but I'll still try it because it's got all like. It's got all the different.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I usually play them once, and then that's that with flying games.
He's got all the different eras though, like World War II and World War One, and like modern jets and stuff. So that can keep things interesting, I think. And it's all like very, like photorealistic visually. It's not like a basic looking game. So I don't know where my HOTAS is though, so I'd have to play with the gamepad. But fine.
I meant to look up this trailer that's showing right now. This Into the Aether. I meant to look up like how long it is. If he said how long this is, because it's DLC for Vertigo 2.
Yeah,
But
I
I
can't
haven't looked
imagine.
it
It'll
up.
probably maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe if it is. I don't know. I'll buy it and play it. I want to support the developer. I loved Vertigo too, so
Oh, of course.
more of the same will be good.
Yeah. Okay. Can you think of anything else?
No,
All right.
that's it. Oh, there's a
Hmm?
game. I can't remember. What's that VR game showcase thing? Like the newer one. There's another one coming. I think in March.
Is it called VR Gaming Showcase?
I think so. So there'll be some stuff there that we'll find out about
Okay. In March.
in March. I think it's March. I can't remember. I think it is next month.
Is that Jamie Feltham?
Yeah, that's Jamie Feltham.
Yeah.
There's a new thing.
Okay.
I met him in real life. He's actually alright.
Oh, you're doing Trombone Champ?
Yeah,
Is
the
that what it
game's calm. Yeah.
Okay.
And his wife is also cool. Xena, is it? I think.
Xena?
I can't remember her name. Yeah,
The warrior,
she's cool.
warrior princess?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okie
Guess that's it.
I guess so.
Bye.
Bye.